Imagination. Thank you for being here with me once more. I hope you are very well today. I am Marie. Welcome to my channel. This information can be seen as science fiction, or as the viewer sees best, and I post it for entertainment purposes only. Still, I take my information very seriously, and for whoever has eyes to see. I am writing this on the morning of January 26, 2025. As defined, imagination is a highly creative process in which the individual shapes complex ideas, sensations, images, and just about anything that the mind can shape, all without any external stimulation, or very little of it as inspiration. Without imagination, nothing would exist, as everything that is, was, and will be must first be a concept in someone's mind, a set of intentions to create what does not yet exist, even though it will be based on what already does exist, or on other concepts that were combined to shape the new concept, idea, or object. This is because the creative mind cannot generate anything outside the scope and understanding of its own consciousness. This means the greater the consciousness, with wider knowledge, points of view, and overall awareness, the greater its creative, imaginary resources will be. The more a person knows, the more he or she will be able to create, yet knowing in this case also means that it must be combined with conscious awareness, and the word, knowing, not to be confused with raw accumulation of data, as with a pen drive or a computer hard disk. Imagination is the primordial world-creating tool for anything, any creature that has a soul and a consciousness. Every soul will conceptualize what they want to experience next, what they want to manifest in their lives in their immediate, medium, and far future. Imagination is the basic first step to the formation of anything real and every reality at large. So, although from one or another point of view, it has not manifested yet, imagination is reality for the subject that is shaping, guiding, and manifesting it from what his or her mind is generating. The hard, so-called, real world can be a very hard place to live in, so countless people, countless souls live in the imaginary worlds they have created for themselves, creating with this a dichotomy between what they are imposed as reality, meaning, a terrible job, an abusive family and all the problems of living in the material world, as opposed to the idealistic fantasy worlds they create in their minds as means to escape from the highly depressive environment they live in. This can even be considered a survival mechanism, and not just a self-delusive process that probably appeared as an escape mechanism to evade facing the hard truth or reality, as well as an excuse not to face themselves as individuals. There is no harder and crueler judge than ourselves, so the individual will tend to go to the utmost extremes to do anything other than facing their own problems, shortcomings, guilts, and demons. As an example, even the worst criminals, in their distorted and twisted minds, will see themselves as the good guy, as they have a barrage of justifications, mind processes, and excuses that prevent them from seeing themselves as the bad ones, and one of those mind processes, to call it somehow, is the lack of empathy. Imagination is a necessary function to create what we wish for, and what we will do next, and as the law of mirrors, or the law of manifestation dictates, you must strongly and truly believe that you already are there, that you have already achieved what you want, to become a vibrational match with what is desired. This means that you must truly and strongly live what you want as if you already had it, therefore you must be today the person who is congruent with what you desire, and the only way to achieve this is to believe that what you are imagining is real, because it is real to you. Now what I will say next is very important. Please remember that whatever you imagine is only valid for you, and you alone. Therefore trying to impose what you imagine is real onto other people is not valid, and it is highly abusive because your imaginary reality will not match the one of other people. This most probably creates a rupture of your imaginary process, as you would face the hard reality that it does not match one of the others, and the external world. An example of this problem would be imagining and believing that real people who are external to you are also living in the same reality you imagined. So, assigning imaginary activities and actions to real, living, and breathing third-party individuals will only bring disaster. Assuming that whatever the subject imagines is real simply because it imagined it, can only be seen as the result of a distorted megalomania mind. Having said that, well-applied imagination can get the individual closer to his or her objectives, even in the context of mingling with real people, on the condition that the rights of those third-party individuals are honored and respected. It is only when two or more individuals share the same concepts and ideas about reality, be they imaginary or not, that they share the same existential realm. As I mentioned in another video, from my point of view, there are no existential realms, timelines, parallel universes, multiverse, or any concept, idea, or whatever that breeds separation from complete unity, which would be source itself. The idea of something being different from another can only exist in duality, which in turn is manifested from the limitations of awareness of the mind. A mind with no limitations of awareness can only be source, as it is all-inclusive and in the most expanded and complete definition of the word, and even more as words do not suffice, and will never suffice to describe source. The wider, expanded, and more inclusive a mind is, the more it can manifest. There are no existential realms, timelines, densities, dimensions, and so on, because they are all creations of the mind of those who understand and define each one of those arbitrary parts of the all-inclusive source. If multiple souls experience one existential realm and not any other, is only because their frequency and vibration are similar enough to be a match with the ideas and concepts of the other souls who individually and collectively manifested the concepts that define the realms they are experiencing as their reality, being that they too are co-creating it. Here we can see how some souls can influence others into believing whatever they want, especially if they are already in an authority position over the newcomers. This can end up being a very dangerous situation because this is how a matrix is formed, and it is when someone with enough power and authority, deliberately or not, can lure countless other people into believing whatever they want, and adopting those artificially imposed ideas as a universal hard truth and reality. The most obvious example of this would be cult leaders of the kind that ultimately end up either in jail or dead along with countless of their followers. Yet it is also the very same mechanism with which larger realities are generated, for example, the Matrix on Earth, where millions agree to the rules that supposedly govern existence, the material world, and so on. In where the people agree with what was taught or imposed on them as real, and believe what is possible and what is not, as well as the set of ideas and expectations they must have when one or another situation is faced. An example of this last one would be the ideas they have, as well as the attachments they harbor about the concept of how extraterrestrials should be. Expanding on this example, most people experience a very hard time accepting the simplest of all concepts, that there are more people like them, more humanity in space, dwelling among the stars. Use your imagination wisely, as it is the basic formation of everything you will live and manifest, especially for yourself, yet please keep in mind that you must never impose what you imagine on other people who are also doing their best to create their own experience in life. Unless those other people agree to follow your concepts, most probably because they are like-minded. Dwell and use your creative imagination, but keep in mind that the people around you will see things differently, thus you will be living in two different worlds, with different rules and priorities, and you must learn to live in both worlds efficiently. You may share the same table, but what you live, your truth, is very different. Defend your truth and your right to believe in whatever you want, whatever serves you, but also respect the wishes and rights of others. Manipulating people into believing your truth only produces slaves of the mind, and great responsibility on the one who manipulates, especially if the subject is making up things that real people did not do nor say. Whatever you imagine and believe is yours and yours alone, and no one else's. This will be all for today. As always, thank you for watching my video, and for liking, sharing, and subscribing for more. It helps this channel grow a lot. And I hope to see you here next time. With much love and appreciation, your friend, Marie.